Hi, there's Kevin with the Rogue Market. I want to apologize for the lack of content on this channel specifically. I've been trying to keep up with my other channels with Gone Rogue Games and the Rogue Deck Builder, and this one has kind of fallen by the wayside, but I do want to get back in the financial stuff. People have asked me why I've been so silent about all this stuff going on in the market. I am just frustrated. First of all, I'm really busy. Man, this holiday season has been just slammed. Between family, work, I am slammed. So having a lot of time to dedicate towards the YouTubes, but I do want to get back to this channel particularly because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the financial world. And I've just been really bitter too about a lot of the decisions that Wizards of the Coast has made. And I don't want to add more to the, well, I do want to add more to it, but it just, every time I go to make a video, I just get so frustrated with a lot of decisions that Wizards of the Coast has made with Magic 30, with the overprinting. And speaking of overprinting, this is what this topic is going to be about. We're going to unbox some of these since I have to get some work done anyway. You guys can listen to me ramble while I unbox these pre-release kits and get them shipped off. So one of the services that I do for my patrons is if they live, like this particular gentleman lives in Alaska, so shipping things to him is very uneconomical. So the way to get sealed product, or not sealed product, the way to get product to Alaska, break it down. That's the best way to do it. So that is a service I do offer my patrons that I hope sets me apart from other services. And if you are interested, of course, link in the description below for our Patreon. So these are Black Friday deals. Can't remember the cost, was around $10 a pre-release kit, I think it was, for Innistrad, Crimson Vow, and New Capenna. So it takes the cost of pack below $2, which is a pretty good deal. And that is, we definitely have to go into deep dive in the singles market because it just seems like no one's doing it, to the fact that Standard is now actually viable. Where we have like Standard booster boxes hitting around $70, $80 EV on TCG market price, which is pretty good because at that point you can actually, there are ways to get that above the actual cost. Like if you can get them for super cheap and get your cost down, that's actually profitable. But this is actually very surprising that the rest of the market's crashing, but the singles market is actually doing quite well because you'd think that all of it crash simultaneously. So it just shows to me that people aren't buying a lot of sealed product and actually cracking it. Well, they're just not buying sealed product. That's why sealed product's getting blown out. And then people aren't even cracking it for packs because I think a lot of those type of people have just been crushed. Like a lot of the sellers that existed in the past couple of years with a lot of free time and, you know, free money to kind of get into this hobby of breaking down stuff and selling it. And I've also heard from a lot of sellers they've quit too just because of how hard it is to list cards because there's so many different versions. That is also just, I mean, that takes more time. If there's more versions, it takes more time. Time is money, and people just got frustrated with that. The problem with Magic is we go on these little roller coasters with people. So everyone and their grandma thinks they can make the singles market on TCG Player or eBay or you know, other venues actually buy listing stuff actually worthwhile. I actually don't do it. As a store owner, I mean, we occasionally will sell overstock on places like that. But the reasons I don't do it is it's really time consuming and it's absolutely boring to do. So I actually prefer just a buy list when we get way too big of inventory. I do have one leg up on most people. Having a local game store, I can do trade-ins and buy cards for super cheap, but you don't have the option to do so. And so for me, it's even more economical to then sell on TCG Player or buy list stuff. But what I've noticed though with singles prices with Pioneer and Standard is it just shows me that no one is breaking down product. There's actually a lot of opportunities for arbitrage. This would be one of them. You're definitely going to make more going this route. You know, $10 for a pre-release kit. You're going to get your EV back on New Capenna. I'm pretty sure with your pre-release kits, and the seeded packs can have, you know, decent stuff in them too. So anyway, let's just kind of talk about the market as I get going here. So again, these are all going to Alaska, so you save a lot just by going with the packs and just the so you go from, these are actually not too bad packed like previous kits. They're pretty good here. You get 5 packs, you get a seeded pack and a promo with the pre-release kit. So there's the seeded pack. Don't get a seeded rare in the seeded pack. Is that where the promos are in this one actually? I'm not quite sure if that's okay. Maybe that's where they are at. Is the promo's actually in the seeded pack. So yeah, New Capenna is actually a little bit worse than because you don't get that extra rare unless there's 2 rares in these. Maybe there was. I've done these so many times, but why can't I remember what's actually in this? But anyway, pre-release kits used to be something that didn't stick around for a few months after release. It was one of the first sold out products. Because they don't keep it, it's not printed to demand. These are 4 events and then they get purchased and then there isn't a restocking of them and they're WPN exclusive, so there isn't that much stock of them to begin with. And what I've been noticing the last couple of years is previous kits they've sold quite terribly, and you can get them for quite a while. But these actually do age well sealed, and of course if you just want to break them down for drop booster packs, this is way more economical right now to go this route than any other route for the new Capenna. I know they did blow out new Capenna for like 70 or something, but that's still per cost, that's still more per pack than going this particular route, if you do count like the seeded pack as a pack. So yeah, for $10 for a previous kit, I think this is a lot cheaper to go this particular route. So anyway, this is an interesting time to be in Magic. Like I said, sometimes I don't mind bear markets as much. Like, we still are in a bear market as far as overprinting is concerned, but Magic as a whole is still quite strong as far as sales are concerned. The issue is Wizards just hasn't adjusted. Like, sales are still good, but the overprinting has not kept up with the amount of sales. I mean, it's overprinted into the just basically average. You have your base average Magic demand, a lot of burnout. There's Magic would be a lot stronger if there wasn't that burnout, but comparatively year over year, I would still say that this 2022 market is probably as good as like most average years in the last decade for sales. There's still a lot of demand for product, and it hasn't really. I mean, it's definitely slowed down from the pandemic years, but that's of course expected because, yeah, you can't when you offer people boredom or people are stuck in their houses with free money. That's just the perfect storm for collectibles just to go crazy, and they have. And of course now, with it basically over, with people not staying at home, with no free money, people know, and not only that, we have this weird stagflation going on, where the dollar is actually super strong, but inflation is still hitting, so it makes it's kind of a double whammy for things, because energy and food goes up, but the rest of the things that people make money on have kind of gone down, have kind of readjusted after the pandemic and free money. And so it's, like I said, a double whammy for people being able to spend things on things that aren't necessary. So that's actually hit the collectible markets. So with all those considered, what I'm trying to say is Magic's actually a lot stronger than you would expect for this. If you factor in everything that's happened, I would expect actually the collectibles markets to take a bigger hit, like other markets have had right now. But they still seem super strong. Like Magic still seems super strong for accounting everything that has gone wrong. And I think that's actually more of a good indicator for Magic in the long term than you would expect, because a lot of the markets like sports cards and stuff, they're in a free fall. They're in an absolute free fall right now. And Magic is still chugging along with all the bad decisions. So that's the good news. That's the silver lining for Magic the Gathering, is if Wizards of the Coast will respond, and if they can just get over their addiction of trying to sell into hype and go for the short-term profits, then I think that we'll have a very successful game for the next 5-10 years to come, if Wizards of the Coast can make the right decision. Now, again, I kind of like bear markets, especially this time, because sometimes bull markets are very hard to get product to begin with. So even if you can make money on Magic the Gathering, then if you can't get product, then what's the whole point? I actually need to get a garbage can over here. I'm going to be loaded with this sort of stuff. Kind of boring little. I'm trying to keep my thought process together while actually doing this in a decent time frame. And I guess my mind just doesn't work like that, because I'm all over the place with organization here, as well as trying to keep everyone engaged with this video. So man, we've gotten like all the same color dice, a bunch of green and a bunch of blue. Anyone's in the market for dice, let me know. I got tons of them, tons and tons and tons of them. This is kind of the boring one with the new Capenna. The new Capenna, because they don't have the promo kit. You can't actually look at the promo because it's actually buried in the seeded pack. Alrighty, I should open up one of these just to actually see what's in the seeded packs. I believe there is 2 rares in the seeded packs. So, yeah, we finally get our first red dice in here. I'm off camera opening this up, trying to sort all this crap so I don't have to do it later. And there's tons of packs in here. I'm gonna have to send a couple of these flat rates to Alaska. This is going to be, finally got a red dice, expensive little package to that, but still probably worth it. That's the best way to do it if you are shipping to Alaska, is to put everything in the large board game size flat rates. That is the best way to go, because the United States post office doesn't charge anything different with flat rates, no matter where it goes, whether it goes to Hawaii or whether it goes to, you know, Arkansas. It's going to be the exact same. So, anyway, don't know why I'm rambling. But yeah, back to my thought process with this. Like I said, there is some silver lining with the bear markets because you can get things for super cheap. I actually think these sets have been pretty good. I mean, the power level of New Capenna, like if you see the cards that are actually still seeing play in the various formats, you got the Triome lands, you got a lot of like good removal in all these sets. You got some very, very strong cards that I think are definitely Pioneer and Modern playable. Yeah, it's going to be a set that I think is going to be looked after. You got to remember that we actually haven't had the strongest markets for standard sets for a long time. Theros had some blowouts, so did Ikoria. Remember that whole time period? People were thinking those were terrible sets. They're starting to go back up. Throne of Eldraine, of course, was kind of the benchmark that everyone was like, oh, I don't want to buy this set because of Throne. And I actually think that Throne is going to age worse than a lot of the other sets. If you actually look at the average EV from that time period, Throne's the worst one out of it. You actually have Ikoria like approaching like 130 a box if you actually count the lands as value, because you have some lands that are actually approaching $2. So those full art lands have actually aged very well. The other full art lands from some of these other sets like Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, they haven't aged the greatest. So Theros has that going for it. You can expect every booster pack to have like $1 worth of lands. Sometimes they buy list for 35 cents too, 35 to 50 cents. I've actually seen them buy list for some of the islands or the swamps and islands for up to 75 cents. So a lot of people are still choosing those Theros lands to kind of bling out their decks with their full arts. We call them kind of the Pokemon lands, so what have you. Anyway, so yeah, again, that time period had some weird bear markets within that time period. I remember Theros and Ikoria not doing well at the start of the pandemic before all the free money, and of course everything kind of really recovered. But still, the issue was they put out so many competing products at that time period that those didn't sell as much as they probably should have. And if those can recover, if things like Return to Ravnica Allegiance and Guilds of Ravnica, I actually think these sets are a lot better than those ones. Of course, they do have Shocklands in those ones, but as a whole, I still think you're getting a better bang for your buck with some of these later sets with the amount of playable cards in Commander and in Modern and in Pioneer. That this is a good time in a bear market to kind of hold and sit on these cheaper products. So again, look for the sales. I'm actually expecting on the start of the year is when we're going to actually see a lot of collapse. One of the reasons I think that the market is strong is it's the holiday season anyway. And, well, tax returns can actually have some pretty good Magic Gathering spikes as people actually spend their tax returns. That's typically also the height of Magic would be from January. I would say from January to about April is when most people play Magic the Gathering. If you actually look at the store data, like that's typically the time when Magic sees the most play, is that sort of winter into spring. Summer is the lull for Magic the Gathering, and that's maybe in 2023 where we'll see the deals galore. And we're starting to see a lot of indicators that things are going to be blown out. It's probably going to be the really crappy products like Jumpstart. They'll be blown out for pennies on the dollar. I'm expecting to see like old Challenger decks to really start to be blown out as people like stores just won't have the inventory, or our distributors just won't have the capabilities of storing this type of crap when they have to make room for other stuff. And now I think that even distributors have kind of given up on some of this product. And I just cut myself. Oh no, I need hazard pay as I just cut myself on this. I have to go get a band-aid. It's bleeding like crazy. Look at me go. Man, my job has some risk involved to it. A little spiky little thing right there. Just cut my finger. Anyway, where is I going with this? So I think that that's when we'll see the big... So I wouldn't blame you if you want to hold off for... that time period to really get in on some of these products with Magic, because I don't think... The problem is, like, I don't see a reprint now with, like, Streets of New Capenna. I'm actually thinking Wizards of the Coast is going to change their policy. We're having a lot of people, like, resign. We're having a lot of internal meetings happening at Wizards of the Coast. I know that they're watching everything, especially with the fiasco with Magic 30. I mean, even things like CNN and Fox News covered it. Philip DeFranco covered it. Everyone's covered the Magic 30 debacle. And... it's going to cause some changes. Heads are going to roll at Wizards of the Coast, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to have to stop printing so much and go back to kind of one and dones with Standard until yeah, we'll have to go get a band-aid as my finger's bleeding everywhere. Let's see what I have that I can wrap around this. 1 second. I think I have some stuff here. Medic! We're okay. We'll push through it. I'm a professional. We'll push through the bleeding. I'll try not to bleed on your stuff, Mr. Endrick. We won't bleed as now Buttons. Hey, Buttons, what are you guys doing? I hope you guys don't hear all the tippity-tappity as my dogs always want to come and snipe my recordings. If I don't shut the door, then they want to see what's going on and jump up on me. But, yeah. Anyway, guess I should have shown more of, like, all the aftermath of this. I guess we'll start packing it in here of all the packs you get from a... So I can show you the kind of the room you save by... The Priest packs, not so much. Like some of the other products, like bundles. I mean, they've done a better job with bundles lately, but I mean, Priest packs, you still, well, I guess you do save quite a bit of room. So basically, that's what you end up with after opening up the pre-release. You get a lot of these kits. Jeez, stop bleeding! I'm such a bleeder. Jeez, everywhere. Yeah. What was I talking about? I was talking about when the time to get in. Again, this is the whole thing, though. I think it, as I mentioned earlier, it just shows how strong Magic is as a whole. That with all the mess ups with Wizards of the Coast, that it's still a strong game. It is still, you know, this is like they have just over printed. Like think of the stuff that came out in the last few years, like Modern Horizons, Time Spiral. We had like the double feature. We had like every product has just had an additional like specialty product with it, and it just I really expected it to crash, you know, sooner, and it still really hasn't crashed. Even at this point, it's still like, yeah, it's dismal stuff on a lot of these products, but I would still think that Wizards of the Coast is having one of their best years with others, even recently, even with like Brothers War and Dominaria. I mean, those sets have probably sold a lot better than a lot of people think. The problem is that they printed even more. Like, the problem is they added so many products but didn't reduce the print runs of the products they had, which is just stupid. I mean, it's just bad oversight at that point to not have the foresight to really see that you have to cut back products if you're going to add more products. You can't just keep adding more and more and more and expect sales to keep up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How come I only have 13 dice? Ruh-roh. Am I missing some dice somewhere? Well, we opened them all up. Everything here. Guess they're probably on the floor somewhere, right? Accidentally kept some in some of the boxes. Oh, there's one. There's one more. So we're missing one more dice somewhere. Probably chucked it in the garbage. Oh well, not gonna go fish that one out. And whatnot. So, got a bunch of dice here. Hey. Got so much of this stuff. I guess this is my cut, because this is just more weight that probably doesn't fit in the boxes to go to Alaska. So, kind of cool too. These are kind of cool too. You get a bunch of dividers if you go this route too. These aren't the best ones. I prefer the ones out of bundles, or like Pokemon's really good. Got a bunch of arena codes. I'll have to figure out what to do with all those arena codes, as those are hard to redeem. You can only redeem one of them. All right, stop bleeding, my dude. All right, so there it is. That's the kind of the room you save. Now this one will be a little more interesting for everybody, as this is now into the Midnight Hunt. So I guess we won't go in order. Yes. See if I can cut my other finger on this cardboard. Cardboard is sharp, guys. Jeez, stop. What is up with it? 'Tis a flesh wound. All right, so now we got these kits. These kits are the Midnight Hunt ones, so these are old school way of doing it. And maybe people don't want to see the box. Maybe they want to see the pack here. But anyway, I am still interested in everyone else's ideas about... I just... Okay, guys. Did I just cut myself on... No, okay, that one's fine. These are sharp little buggers. I'm trying to do this fast and talk at the same time. So these dice are... the same, yeah. I didn't get any black ones in the last one. All right, cool. Now we get the Malevolent Hermit. I'm surprised this one's actually not seeing as much play in Standard anymore. It's weird how the metagame changed so much. But yeah, you get the 6 packs of draft boosters in Midnight Hunt. These are actually a little thicker because they have the 2 tokens in all of the Midnight Hunt stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff still out of this set. The lands are actually doing quite well. So the land run out of these are doing quite well. We also have a lot of high hitters that do see play in Pioneer and in Standard. So we got a Gissa. Hey, this card would be cool if Shieldred didn't exist. So anyway, there's a Gissa. I always forget some of these do exist in Standard because there's so many, you know, really cool cards. Man, that'd be super good in mono black right now too. If a creature opponent controls would die, exile it. Beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled under your control. They gain decay. So anyway, let's go on to the. Did I get everything out of these? What else? Oh, these actually do have. Okay, that's no consequence there. But again, Midnight Hunt is considered is it Crimson Vow or Midnight Hunt that's considered the crappy of the crappy sets? I think it is Crimson Vow. But if you actually look at all the contents of these sets, these are not bad sets. This is better than Shadows of Innistrad. Come on, this is a better set than Shadows of Innistrad. Maybe not Eldritch Moon, but definitely Shadows or Amonkhet or, you know, even Hour Devastation. I like a lot of the cards contained here better than those. And look how well those sets have aged. As hopefully I don't bleed everywhere. Jeez. Okay, we'll go on to this one. See what we get out of here. This one's having a lot of black dice. The Celestis. Pretty cool commander card. And lots of packs here. And get the arena code. I guess I should chuck the arena codes. I don't know if anyone even wants them. As I miss the garbage can, Zach's going to kill me. As I'm missing and missing. And I'll be a mess to clean up later. But I don't know. Here's my question I want to pose everyone else too is like, what kind of market content was your favorite from this channel? I used to do stuff back in the day like the Rogue Roundup. Oh, that is another announcement I need to make. I hired a video editor. So hopefully that will help me with creating videos. Is now I'll have more time to focus on just creating the content, and the video editor can, like, you know, edit it, upload it. And that actually takes a lot of workload off of me by having a video editor. And that's why I want to pose the question of what is the content you enjoyed the most? Did you like the singles where I talked about like cards that I thought were going to go up? I actually need to do a review on some of them I called. We had a really dismal couple of years though for singles going up in value because the reprints were crazy. Oh, that is another topic we have to have for another day. So the whole thing is that Wizard Coast has to slow down, right? So that means they're going to have to slow down on some of their crappy products, which is where a lot of the cards that have been getting crushed is because they are contained in those overprinted products. We're talking about commander decks with each set. I think Wizard Coast is going to have to really, really go back on the print runs of those particular sets, as it's just not cost effective to be printing these things like commander decks that don't sell because it's a lot more expensive to print a commander deck than something like a collector's. So I'm thinking that Wizards of the Coast is going to go more all in on the specialty products like collector's editions or these higher end stuff, and really, really start to scale back on things like draft boosters, commander decks, and things like that, which then allows for a lot of breathing room for things to go up in value if they're not reprinted every commander set. So that is a discussion for another day. Do you like my more market discussions where I just kind of talk about the feel of the market? Do you like more of the fleshed out? Here's a card that is seen playing Pioneer that's undervalued. I think that compared to the supply out there, it's going to go up. Do you like my Rogue Roundups? I think I'm going to turn the shorts now that YouTube has shorts and really wants shorts. I used to do a series called what is the series I did? The Daily Delve. That's what it was called, where I just picked a card every day. I think those will make good shorts, so I think I'm going to revive that. But hopefully I can get motivated and with this new editor, stay busy and pump out the content. Because I do really still enjoy creating, really still do enjoy talking to people and interacting with everyone. And it's just, I don't know, I enjoy it. And I hope people else kind of enjoy this kind of raw footage of stuff. I know I've been doing more of that lately. But it's kind of fun to show my world and kind of immerse you guys in my daily activities of kind of what I do, what keeps me busy, and whatnot. So that's a decent little card. Man, there's so many fun cards right now. I wish they'd quit printing push cards like them. I know I'm going to complain so much about Shieldred. Shieldred, how I hate Shieldred. Shieldred, how I hate you. Because there's so many cards in these slots I think you're fun. This is a fun little card. Look how fun that card is. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as the Archmage enters the battlefield and enters your sorcery spells because X less where X is power. And then you put a +1 counter every time it's day or night. Man, this card can just out of control. It's a fun commander, actually. I did build a commander deck out of this card. So like I said, like if that card doesn't get reprinted a billion times in every commander set going forward, and that's kind of the paradox of Magic the Gathering, the more cards printed, the less eligibility it has for reprint. So you got to keep that in mind too. So that's one of the reasons why they've upped their product, is they have to continue to reprint stuff to make it accessible. But the more years that are added on to Magic the Gathering, the more of these cards can't be reprinted because they're competing with other stuff that need to be reprinted. And so that's another thing going for Magic the Gathering is, but again, one of the other things that happens though is they're just better. When they print clear best in slots, it does take the demand for obscure cards or some of these cards to actually want to even be played in Commander. Commander's become so streamlined that the good news about Commander though, it always has this budget Commander, or people actually. It's very different from Standard. Everyone just wants to build the best deck in Standard. In Commander, there's this push for creativity, for obscure cards. And you can go back to some of these sets from Lorwyn, or cards from Lorwyn that are just super meh cards, and I sell a lot of them when people are looking for a Spider Tribal or something. They want to I want to play with this card that no one's seen before, and it causes demand for those particular cards. So I think there's a kind of a niche for that, or a market for that, and that's what's got it going over Standard and Pioneer and Modern. And I think that it's gonna be harder and harder to reprint cards going forward with more cards being printed in. So I don't know, there's a lot of things that could go right with Magic if they just calm down with printing, and that's I guess what we have to wait and see if Wizards of the Coast will respond correctly or accordingly to what the market is actually telling it to do. And so I don't know. That's my hope, is that Wizards of the Coast can make these. They've got a lot of backlash lately for one of the things I was complaining about in one of my Gone Roger videos over at my Gone Rogue channel, is that Wizards of the Coast is now doing convention boosters as a secret layer. So it's the first time they've gone direct to consumer with sealed product instead of just reprints. I really wish they just get rid of their secret layers altogether. I think that they need to realize they need their strategic partners, and not to kill their strategic partners. Another indicator that I think that Magic is not doing as well as they think it is, there's been premium product that it was set aside for premium stores that have now gone back on for any store to buy that. That means there has been premium stores that have closed their doors or they've just overprinted to where the demand for premium stores didn't even want to take their allocations for things like Warhammer decks. For there was a Commander Collection Black Premium Edition, things like that. So, yeah, I don't think Wizards of the Coast has a choice but to scale back. So, unless there's a mass exodus, unless the economy does even a bigger overturn, then I think that Magic the Gathering, with cutting its product back, will be a successful transition back into a healthy market. And I think that times like this will be looked back on and people will be like, man, I really should have gone deep in some of these products, like this, pre-release kit here, as, these are going to be things that will definitely, in my opinion, outperform something like the stock market. Or, if you look back at Magic the Gathering, and historically it has, year to year, most of these products have. So there are some other channels that I watch that are from other investors and stuff, and they've really spelled out disaster for the collectibles market, because something like 30% of all Magic cards been printed in the last 5 years or something like that. It's just the amount of stuff out there. So it used to be that Magic the Gathering, that was one good thing about Magic the Gathering, is sealed product never went down below its distributor price, no matter how bad. I mean, there are some exceptions. There are a couple dual decks, there are a couple event decks, things like that were just stinkers that just didn't have the value in them. I'll get a lot of these lands in this sucker, and so those were the exception to the rule. But if things like pre-release kits or booster boxes, they never went below their distributor cost. There was a time period when the overprinting after Return to Ravnica, that was another bubble that we were in when we had the Magic the Gathering craze back in 2012, when everybody got into it and the tournament scene was huge. It was kind of pre-Commander, and we had Return to Ravnica boxes that stayed stagnant for many years, but they didn't go below distributor price. They still kept it what stores could get them at distributor, and so no one lost crazy amounts of money on Magic the Gathering. So it was always really safe for stores to get into Magic the Gathering, because if you needed to, you could always liquidate it and get your money back to then go in other stuff. However, this year has really crushed a lot of stores, and there will be a lot of stores closing due to the fact that they're too all in on Magic the Gathering. Little bit of spoiler, I'm way too into Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering fails, my store fails. We aren't diversified enough. There's just not enough money to be made in the other games like Pokemon or Flesh and Blood, or even board games, to really justify a store. So it is a little bit worrisome for that. But the good news with me is I'm very, you know, we've kept our overhead incredibly low, that we can bounce back pretty quickly to these kind of bear markets. And for me, that might be the silver lining too. If it crushes all this other competition, then, you know, we'll be the people with inventory with this kind of this sort of product for when those markets do recover, and we do see kind of those runaway kind of bubbles or bear markets to eat up all this kind of stinky product. Because you got to remember, this was the Shadows of Innistrad, the Amonkhet's, the Hour Devastations. Those were times where things were very stagnant. People like, see, booster boxes, Magic is dead. Magic is you know, they've just too many stinker stuff in a row. And those boxes have all aged very, very well, comparatively speaking to other products. So anyway, a little bit of food for thought there. So hopefully I'm not rambling too much. Man, this video is going on a lot longer than I thought it was. I hope everyone appreciates or enjoys this video of me kind of talking off the cuff with everyone. Man, this actually doesn't save the most. That is a ton of packs. Mr. Enderick, you are going to be overloaded with packs. We got the Suspicious Stowaway. It's a cool card. Definitely a cool card. Kind of weird to play in Commander, though, because it switches into a green card, identity-wise. I wish I could show the floor. I've missed the garbage can so many times. Here. All right, so we are done with the Innistrad Midnight Hunt. See if we got 15 packs here, as I don't want to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What the? Am I missing one? 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'll have to find you one. Where's the promo? Did I throw one of the promo ones away in one of the boxes? I'll have to audit myself here. I will find what I did with it. We'll find it. It's got to be in one of the boxes. I'll find it post video. Because there's 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got all the packs, though. We'll figure it out. As now what just fell. I am all over the place. All right, let's get on to the last box. This was Crimson Vow. This is the set that was supposedly the worst set ever. But if you actually look at Pioneer, and you look at like Pioneer, you look at Standard, there's a lot of, you look at Commander, there's a lot of cards being played out of this set. It is not a stinker set. It is quite good. So here we go with Crimson Vow as I try to find a place for this. There we go. Crimson Vow is up last. And we'll go through this kind of quickly here, as I don't want to. At least I've stopped bleeding. That's good. As I don't want to be here all day with everybody. I do enjoy talking to everyone, but there's other stuff to do. So, yeah. Now we have the Crimson Vow, which again was about the same price for the Black Friday deal. For these, right off the bat, we get a Necro Duality. That's a very good card. Should recover really good in long term, unless they, of course, reprint it a billion times in Commander decks, which I'm not sure they will. And the good thing going with Necro Duality is that Zombie deck, one of the Zombie precons, is still one of the most played commanders. And it's showing signs like, the Ninja Dude. Can't think of the Ninja Dude. Yuri? Is it Yuri? So that's another tip if you are into the Commander world. Look at the Atraxes, look at the top Commander decks, and if there's cards that are contained in those top Commander decks, they will go up in value long term. And so, like I've gone deep on a lot of uncommons from the Rogue deck, the Ninjutsu deck, and a lot of those commons and uncommons are up to $1 or $2 now that haven't seen a reprint. Just from that one Commander deck, continue to see, you know, play year after year as people build it and build it. So that's what I like about Necro Duality, is it's going to be a card that's going to go in every zombie tribal deck that uses blue. And one of the, I can't think of the commander that's being played right now, but it's a blue-black Dimir zombie. And over the past year, I believe, it's the most played commander. So the most, on EDA Trek, it's been the deck that's had the most submissions. Either that or a dragon deck. I can't remember if the dragons passed it up, but it's definitely a very popular deck. Zombies have always been a popular tribal theme. And Necro Duality is, of course, going to go in those type of decks from here till the end of Magic, whenever that is. The end of Magic. So again, Crimson Vow has the land base in it that is, you know, seeing play in Pioneer, seeing play in Commander. People like it in Commander. It's a very good dual land for Commander, and it's a lot of those have gone really high up, and especially we go into, are we going into standard season for competitive? I don't know if we're leaving Pioneer for standard when that actually takes place. I think the tournaments are still mainly Pioneer. There's the Henrika. This card would see a lot more play if there wasn't a card called Shieldred. Shieldred just pushes everything out. It should be banned. It should get the Wild Nikotl banning, in my opinion, from Standard and Pioneer, because it's just too good of a card. I think Shieldred was a commander card that they pushed to, I don't know, maybe they did want another Questing Beast type card just to, you know, be the best in slot to really push black, to make black shine. I don't know if they had those type of conversations at Wizard of the Coast, that they, hey, the black was underrepresented last standard season, let's actually give it a tool. And I don't know, Shieldred just seems like it's the absolute definition of like a card that went through design, like, oh, we need this has to actually survive the 4 damage spells, so we'll make it a 4/5 instead of a 4/4. Oh, let's get a death touch so we can trade with everything. But it just seems like, yeah, they went through a lot of rebalancing it to make sure that it saw play. That's a cool card, Demonic Bargain. That's another good one. Exile top 13 cards of your library, and then search your library for a card and put the card in your hand. It's a 3-mana tutor. That's actually seen a lot of play in Commander. Doesn't see as much play in something like Modern or Pioneer, but it is an option for a tutor, and a lot of Wombo combo decks in Commander don't care about exiling. In fact, your exile zone continues to be more and more of a resource to be used. So those type of cards actually get better. Here's another card that's getting pushed out by Shieldred. Edgar, Charmed Groom. This saw a lot of play before Shieldred, but now just throw Shieldred. He gets more value in it than good old Edgar. Card saw a lot of play pre-Shieldred. I'm kind of salty about Shieldred, if you can't tell. Comes from my brewing background. Like, I keep trying to brew decks over at Rogue Deck Builder, and it's just been really, really tough in black to, same with red, just throw anything but Fabled, the Enchantment Saga, the Kiki Jiki Saga, and same thing with Shieldred. Just like, oh, every deck needs to throw it in because it's just so powerful. I'm hoping they ban both of them. Do the right thing. There is the Howler Piper. Cool card. Cool card indeed. Crimson Vow. So, yeah, back to the question. I would like a lot of your feedback of what you would like to see. If you absolutely hate this type of video, let me know too. This is going to be a long-ass video. So we're approaching 40 minutes right now. I still got to dig out some of the, try to find that promo for the Midnight Hunt. I don't know if I've just missed a box somewhere. It will show up. It will show up. I'll find it. I will find it. But yeah. Let me know how I can be more entertaining. Let me know what better things I can do. Let me know why you're subscribed, why have you stuck with me. And hopefully in the future, we can get this channel back on track and sail off into the sunset together. That's what we want to do. Because I don't want to go anywhere. I've had a very fun time running this store, running this YouTube channel. I am aging. I'm getting to be an old man, but I still do like to do this thing. It is definitely my passion. As I've made a mess with this Crimson Vow. Wow, I'm getting good at, look at all the plastic we have here. I need a plastic recycling plant here. All the product I'm opening for people. And boom, so much dice. Jeez. So much dice here. Hey, we got Olivia. This is a card I always wanted to brew with. Really cool card. Turn target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And attacking when it attacks. When you don't control a legendary vampire, exile this creature. So this is kind of cool because we did get a lot of cool reanimation spells in Brothers War. It's like a card that definitely need to revisit. Maybe I should do that for Rogue Deck Builder. 10 cards that I want to revisit now with cards that have been printed. So just a really cool design with the Olivia Crimson Bride, but removal is just so good right now. Haste is good, but even 6 mana, you better have a lot of. You better win the game with a 6 mana spell. But yeah, Olivia can absolutely bring back some cool cards. I'll have to try a reanimation strategy with Olivia. There's some other cool vampires too that I think are with legendary that can protect your reanimated spell. Alrighty. As I think I just almost cut myself again on this. Getting down to the last few packs here though. Don't care about fishing out these little... Oh, there's nothing else in there. The Uprising of Sensia. Boom. So, I guess there was quite a bit of bulk rares in these Crimson Vow packs. Got 4 of them left here. And we'll get this show on the road. So yeah, I guess my question to you two is how is everyone adjusting to their strategies? I guess you're watching this channel, you're probably more oriented on the MTG Finance side of things. So you're the evil speculator, you're the terrible person that has ruined Magic for everyone else and caused all these runaway bubbles and whatnot. Shame on you. Good old Howling Moon, that's a cool card too. Yeah. Where are you parking your money? Have you been investing in anything or sitting on anything, or have you gone into the arbitrage route? I know that I identified things like Chandra's Spellbooks can be opened and cracked for a profit. Even on buy list, it's break even right now. If you go TCG market price, it is a profit after fees. There has been some reprints recently of Chandra, but Chandra still ages well. A lot of Pioneer decks run 2-ofs, and so that's been really cutting into the supply of Chandra. And there are some foils out of those that have a really good EV. That's a kind of cool card. Yeah, maybe this set does have a lot more of the stinker bulk, but again, I still like Crimson Vow. It does have the all the lands in it that I think will age extremely well, and some other cards in here that I think will be very, very good. Some uncommons and commons, like Infernal Grasp and Consider. Those are both in Midnight Hunt, so it's got some more value going there. But I think there was a couple uncommons from this set too that were really, really highly sought after for Pioneer. So Zach is going to kill me when he sees this room. There's a Lantern Flare. It's actually a cool card too with the cleave ability. So one last pack and then we can be done, and then I can get these out, and so my buddy can actually get these in Alaska at a decent time. And I don't know what you're going to do with all these packs. Hopefully have some fun with them. Magic is still meant to have fun. And that's another thing that's really cool about these kind of bear markets, is you can get some cheap product to actually play with. We actually did a free Halloween draft out of these pre-release packs. We actually opened 3 of them. We call it a sealed draft. You open 3 of them and then draft the other 3. And it makes for kind of a fun experience. So we did 3 packs of each, Crimson Vow and Innistrad. Let people choose which ones they want to open, which ones they want to draft it. And these sets actually work really well together. So there are some fun things you can do for cheap when there are bear markets as well. So anyway, there we have it. There's the last of them of what we got here. So actually some pretty terrible packs for the pre-release. Just the Necro Duality started us off super strong. But yeah, after that, it really went downhill. So let's go and see if I missed some packs this time. And we'll try to find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cool. So I need to dig out one from the trash to see what happened to it. Hey, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you like this ramble of opening up these packs and stuff. So I hope if you are interested in this sort of stuff, definitely go and sign up for the Patreon. It's a really good operation. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. I like having the residual income. It gives me better purchasing power with distributors and whatnot. And it's just a good little symbiotic relationship. Hope you enjoyed this video. Kevin with Rogue. Where am I at? Gone Rogue Games, Rogue Deck Builder, Rogue Market. That's the channel, man. Thanks for watching.